Virgos, what's up? All my Virgo Sun, Moon, Ascendants. Hope y'all doing well. This is your boy Dave B. You're watching Beyond Astrology, where we break down, some astrology, but we also dive into the spirituality and different aspects. We're gonna get into the neuroscience eventually, you know what I'm saying? But for the most part, this is for my Virgo risings. Shout out to all of y'all. This is gonna be the reason we're focusing on rising signs. This is going to be your January horoscope breakdown. So the rising sign helps us understand what house that we have these planets transiting in. So for the y'all, the sun, give or take, you know what I'm saying, depending on your degrees of houses and all that, or if you have overlapping houses, but for the most part, majority of y'all Virgo risings, y'all are gonna experience the sun, which is in Capricorn right now in the month of January. We got it in Capricorn. Going into Aquarius, that should be in y'all fifth house and y'all sixth house. So we're gonna break down, we're gonna focus on that. And yeah, y'all got quite y'all already trined up right now, you know what I'm saying? So there's a bit of a gift in the air. You already methodical and like to plan things out. So in Capricorn season, you kind of know the drill, but it's just cardinal. So with cardinal energy, it just means that it's not so much about having a lot of things going on. It's about getting very specific and focusing on one thing that you're trying to initiate or change. One big thing to keep in mind. So, the Gregorian calendar energy of the new year is going to have everybody trying to rush and get all my New Year's resolutions and shit done. You got to always keep in mind, no, the real New Year happens in March. So there's a phase that you're going through right now, which is the beginning of the winter. The winter time is all about putting a resolve to things. It's about wrapping things up. Not necessarily, well, it is somewhat about starting something, initiating something, but what you want to initiate is the beginning of the end of what you're putting to bed. And you can do that by starting a new routine in the direction that you want to go. You could start that by kind of setting the tone, but for the most part, Capricorn energy in a nutshell is about blueprinting. So blueprinting is really the theme of this month that you want to keep in mind. Like, how can what's the blueprint of this next year going to look like? But also, this is the beginning of a whole 9 year cycle because 2025 was a year nine. We've gotten out of that. So numerology wise, we have started this new cycle and now we're on the one energy, which also means that this entire year you want to bring things back to you. Is this aligned with me? Is this really what the path that I'm trying to cultivate for myself? Does this make sense to me? If not, you might want to leave that behind. Also, no one is coming to save me except for me. And the only real enemy I have is my own self and the self-sabotage aspects and tactics that I employ on myself. So bringing the power back to you is what this channel is all about as well, spiritual empowerment. So that's kind of the baseline of where we're starting now. The sun itself is like I said before, going to be in your fifth house. It's in your fifth house now. So fifth house is the house of creativity, also what you want to express. So considering what you want to express, um creating a blueprint of what you want to entertain. Think about it like this. If you could pick a handful of things that you would like to entertain this year, what would those things be? And let's start to make a blueprint out of those things. Let's start to give attention to those things. Let's start to make those things your focus. And so you want to more, and again, Virgos, I know how y'all get. Sometimes it be critical. Sometimes y'all focus on the things that y'all don't want. Sometimes y'all get into that mode of just needing to pick apart the things that you are trying to fix. Don't look at it so much of like, what am I trying to fix? Look at it as, what am I trying to entertain? What is going to be enjoyable for me to experience in these next upcoming uh days, weeks, all the way up until the next year, you know what I'm saying? And then also, depending on how much you want to blueprint, you could blueprint for the next 9 years if you wanted to. Consider what you want your next 9 years to look like. But it starts one step at a time, and that's kind of where people kind of get mixed up when it comes to January, because people try to, they forget that it's a marathon. They try to sprint out the gate, and it's like we didn't even get to the real start line yet. So you don't burn yourself out. And the fastest way to burn yourself out is trying to put too much pressure on you to already have things done. Everything takes progression. It's going to take time. So set yourself up for success by breaking the big goal, big picture down into small increments. And right now, for you, it starts with, what do I want to put on center stage for this year? And even if that's you, you know what I'm saying? That could very well just be you. I want to put myself on center stage. Whatever it is, consider what that is. And then now what's going to happen is, the more focus and attention you give to what you want to see, it's going to turn into, that energy is going to transfer into, or transit into, the sixth house, right? When we get into Capricorn, I mean Aquarius season, and that's going to turn into you now developing a new association with the things that you're trying to put on that center stage. It's going to be you starting to establish a network around, and that could be you adding more people, friends, associates, co-workers, whatever it might be, that will start to contribute to making what you want to make your focus and put on center stage, making that a routine, a pattern. So you'll be able to actually do that and experience it more and more, building up into the upcoming year, you know what I'm saying? And that'll carry you into a Aries season, where we actually experience the spring, the fresh new energy, what everybody wants to consider the New Year's energy. But so that's kind of how these energies play on each other. Now, Aquarius season will be an in conjunction, so you might misunderstand some of the you might misunderstand the different associations that you're going through and how those play out to the bigger picture, but don't worry about that too much. Use the gift of right now to kind of create the foundation for that to make sense, aka being that you focused on what you want out of things, and you start to put your attention to what you want to express and create. What's going to happen naturally is, what becomes the routine and pattern is the consistency of you entertaining what you want to see. You get what I'm saying? So that's how these things build on to one another. That's specifically how these energies are going to build on to one another. And for the most part, I didn't say this in the beginning, but go ahead and, if you want to get a personalized reading, go ahead and reach out to me at davebeyond95 at gmail.com. And, I can and put astrology help in the subject line, and then I can get you a personalized reading. I do my readings based upon a person's individual needs and depending on what your goals are. So if you're trying to be, you're trying to quit your job, be a content creator, or trying to be some kind of artist, or you just, specific things you want to do in your life, let me know. And then, and it could even be interpersonal things, like you're trying to figure out a certain aspect of your personal life, then I can go ahead and dive in, and we can talk about how these different things are specifically affecting those aspects and those goals and those aspirations. Yeah, so that's just what you should be keeping in mind. Now, we also got a lot of transits. We got a lot of planets already in Capricorn too. So this is a lot of energy going on in your fifth house. So there might be a lot of, Mars is in the fifth house. So there might be a lot of like, expressing going on, either people expressing things to you or things you want to express. Don't burn yourself out. Mars is exalted in Capricorn, and so that's a positive thing, because it can make you passionate about what you want to do and what you want to work on, but it can also make you very hard on yourself. It can make things that are supposed to be enjoyable pressure feel like a pressure cooker and things like that. And it's important for you as a Virgo to try to find ways to kind of, it's not so much alleviate stress, but redirect stress. You want to put stress in different pockets. You want to make stress kind of go and be directed towards things that actually build up your momentum to be better and be greater and go harder, rather than stress that kind of clamps down on you and makes you want to freeze and makes you want to hide away. So that's one thing to consider. Mercury as well. Mercury in the fifth house. Again, this is creative thinking. So get creative about how you want how you want to go about your life. I mean, this is a fresh slate coming out of the 9 year. Now we're in the 1 year. This is a masculine year. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of fire energy too. It's a fire horse year. So you need to kind of prepare yourself to get into the mix. So, I would advise a lot of, like, even getting into yoga and stuff like that, stretching, just making your body, um, making your body nimble and being flexible and stuff like that, getting back in touch with your body. Like it's almost like this year, kind of 2026 feels like a year you want to be in your body. You don't want to be huffing and puffing and stuff like that. Like, I mean, again, your workout schedule is your business, but you want to make sure you kind of fit for the battle, fit for the fight, because it is going to be a bit of a fight. Not necessarily saying that to make you nervous, but it's just going to be a bit of a fight. You're gonna have to show up, basically. And this is where we, first of all, in the beginning, we have to show up for ourselves. Um, and I think I said this, it's a year one. So it's all coming back to what's important to you, what's aligned to you. Does this make sense for you? Should be at the top of your line. And then, so being that the sun is starting out in January in your fifth house, it's about, is this enjoyable for me? That's a question you might want to ask yourself. Is this enjoyable for me? Is this routine, this job, this thing that I'm trying to set myself up to do, is this truly enjoyable to me, or am I just trying to follow a trend, or am I just doing what everyone else around me expects me to do? Am I doing with my what my partner thinks I should be doing, or am I doing this because I believe it's actually what I'm supposed to be doing? Now, I think if I'm not mistaken, Jupiter is in your 11th house. So there's a lot of it's a lot of beautiful things. Am I right about that? Hold on, I don't just say shit. Do not want to just say shit. If this is the first, 12th, 11th. Yeah, so Jupiter should be in your like 11th house-ish. So your network has been expanding, and there's also a lot of miracles that could come through from your network, the people that you know, who you're associated with, or vice versa. It could be a lot of things that kind of block blessings based upon who you're associated with. So that's something to just keep in mind. You know, Neptune near the so we got a new moon in late Capricorn, early Aquarius, around the 15th. Now that, is it the 15th? More so like the 17th, I think. So that's going to be right before, or the 18th. It's going to be right before the sun transits into your next sign, into your sixth house. So think about it like this. That new moon is going to be kind of like whenever we hit the new moon and it initiates a waxing period, that's when we have to practice what we preach. So, use this time to explore what it is that you like, kind of consider if what you're doing is what you like or not. But really, in that next new moon, that's where the thing that you want to put on center stage now needs to become a routine and a practice. And it might not feel good at first to make it a routine, or it might just come with friction. But you have to decide if that friction is the good friction, or if it's the kind of sign that you need to do something else, pivot. And that's something I can't tell you. That's something you already know for yourself. Uh, you're getting a little bit of a trine action with Uranus and Taurus, but it will go into Gemini, which will create a square. So there might be, later on, late in the year, you're gonna feel you might feel a lot more friction. But again, good friction or bad friction. Good friction is the one that instills growth and, makes you stronger and things of that nature. Bad friction is the one that drains you. Um, but you still need rest throughout it all. Neptune is going to be going into Aries. Now Aries is in your let me think. If Cancer is your 11th house, that means your 10th house is Gemini, right? Um 10th house, ninth house is Aries. No, ninth house is Taurus, right? And then that'll make your eighth house Aries and your seventh house? Am I tripping? Am I tripping? No, 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 Nick. Yeah, your seventh house would be Pisces. No, so I'm thinking about Neptune going into Aries. So that's your eighth house, right? So your eighth house is going to look like, that's where Neptune is going to be. Now, Neptune in the eighth house really, um, this is kind of like this is one of those energies where, you know, Neptune is always bringing either creativity or delusions. So, and then Saturn is going there too. So this is kind of a year that might have a lot more, just emphasis on structure and discipline, whether or not you've set yourself up for a life that it's like almost like have you created system like the eighth house is behind the scenes. It's what's sacred to you. So it's almost like, do your sacred practices support your lifestyle, or do they kind of get in the way, like habits and stuff like that? Habits, the things you don't necessarily need everybody to know about, maybe just a few close, intimate people. Do these things support you and allow you to flourish, or do these things low key create restrictions? So if you have any, like, this might be a good time to also consider what habits that you want to transform and get rid of before, like 27, I think January 27th is where we get Neptune in Aries again. And again, Neptune is not so much going to bring this energy, but Saturn will start to kind of bring those emphasis in. So it's just something to consider. Like what do your habits look like, and do they inspire you? Do the things that you do behind closed doors, do they induce creativity, or do they take away from your creativity by distracting you? Um, that's kind of just I don't know, that message came through. So hopefully if that resonates, it resonates. If not, hey, for the most part. But yeah, you're gonna have like, Mars, Mercury, even Venus me transiting into your sixth house as well. So, things are gonna start to turn into work. You just, my suggestion would just be make sure it's work that you enjoy, or make sure and if it's not work that you enjoy, you know, have that work lead to the thing that you want to enjoy, or let it be something that's allowing you the space to develop the skills to get closer to what it is that you want to be doing, so on and so forth, for the rest, I don't say for the rest of your life, but for the upcoming year, for the next 9 years, et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, hopefully this was helpful. If it was, please drop me a like. If it wasn't, drop me, a comment or something like that. Let me know, what I'm saying? I'm open to the feedback. I want to know and improve these videos for y'all so that I can continue to provide y'all with value, and y'all can continue to get something out of this, and we can all make the world a better place by just, again, just expressing ourselves to each other and things like that. But anyway, much love. And I will catch y'all on the next one. Peace.